Hi, everybody. Betsy Davis with Colorbar, Chief Marketing Officer for Sandy Alexander. Joined as always by one of my favorites, Kim Updike.
Well, hello, Betsy. Hi. Good to see you.
Always.
I'm
Good to
so
see
excited
you.
for today's episode.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, we haven't prepared for a Colorbar episode, I think, as much as we did for this one today.
This homework, glasses, deep breaths. We're good. We're good. I'm excited.
So
Excited for Dr. Romie.
So excited for
join us.
Dr. Romie. So a quick welcome before I literally just said I have a whole note card filled with all of the wonderful things about Dr. Romie. So we talked with Jennifer DePascal recently on Colorbar, who is the co-founder of Women Leading Travel and Hospitality and Retail. And I talked about on the episode this magnificent woman that sat down beside me that had the most amazing energy.
That glow, I believe.
There was a glow about her, and I'm like, I just need to know who you are and what is happening, because as soon as you sat down, the whole energy changed. And so she's like, I'm Dr. Romie and the Chief Wellness Officer for Great Wolf Lodge. I'm like, well, no wonder. No wonder this energy is coming off of you. And so from the moment I met you, I wanted to sit down and have this conversation. So I appreciate you being here, and I'll do a quick introduction. So Dr. Romie Mushtaq, all the things, Chief Wellness Officer of Great Wolf Resorts, as I mentioned, but a board certified physician, award-winning speaker, founder of the Brain Shift Institute, author of a book we both bought this morning.
Yes, we did.
Of The Busy Brain Cure. And she's featured on Colorbar today.
Yes,
but
she is.
excuse me, ma'am, TED Talks, NBC, Forbes, all the places, all the things that she's been a speaker on and has joined. And so we are more than thrilled to have you be a part of Colorbar today and talk about all things wellness in the corporate world and just our lives day to day that we all so desperately need. So welcome.
Yes.
Betsy, Kim, an honor to be of service. There are no coincidences that the universe will always have you walk by, sit down next to someone that you can receive a message or give a message to. And I'm so thankful that we both had our hearts open in that moment at Women Leading in Travel and Hospitality. I hold intention that there's at least one person that's going to listen to this episode, and we can impact someone's life by saving them, healing burnout, and igniting hope. And that is my intention for being here with you all today. Thank you.
Well, we are so excited for it. As we mentioned, Kim and I were behind the scenes today and did the brain test, and like we literally are kind of laughing at ourselves. Like, asked the question of, are you hangry? As I had just got finished telling her I need a snack before I have a meltdown and get hangry. And there was something, and we like literally were laughing because it was things that we had talked about just behind the scenes today.
Yeah.
About just kind of going 90 miles an hour as leaders and all the things that we're talking about today. So so before we get started, just talk a little bit and tell everybody your background and all the passions that you were just talking about and what you're trying to provide for all of us out here today.
Betsy, we women leaders, one, thank you for modeling. We should all lead with our accolades and who we are and model that for other women leaders. And also, let me tell you the story behind those accolades. I am the proud daughter of immigrants, and English is my third language. And I was raised with one success mantra from my immigrant parents. We have one daughter, and you will become a doctor. And I entered the field of neurology at a time where less than 5% of the brain doctors in the United States were women. And even back then was doing cutting edge research on the role of hormones in women's brain health and mental health. And from the outside, it's kind of like an Instagram feed today. It looked like she had it all put together: starched white lab coat, full professor, a designer shoe collection that would put Carrie Bradshaw to shame.
Let's go.
But on the inside, I was struggling. You mentioned hangry. I couldn't focus. I was feeling anxious. I was running on fumes. And I thought my brain was malfunctioning as a brain doctor, but it seemed like everybody else around me was okay. This was back in early 2000s when we didn't dare mention mental health, even in medicine, let alone in the public. So I'm so thankful for the movement that millennials and Gen Z have created on social media to force us all to talk about it.
Mhm.
Burnout didn't even exist as a diagnosis. And I learned firsthand that chronic stress can kill you. It nearly killed me. And I'm a doctor. I should have known better. In 2010, the chronic stress ended up in physical symptoms. I ended up in life saving surgery. And I woke up in the hospital thinking, good God, nothing I've learned in medical school or up till now is going to help me. I don't know what to do. And somewhere on the journey to healing myself, this aha moment came of this is why I was meant to be on this earth is to go back into corporate America as a wake-up call to leaders such as both of you to say, what can we do differently to stop this hustle culture? How can we succeed without stressing ourselves out?
Mhm.
And that is where the Brain Shift Institute was involved and it evolved from, and the research that went into the Busy Brain Cure to offer a cure to burnout in the workplace. 8 weeks will cure your burnout, all research based. And then I love this is, they say when you're wanting to make the world a better place, the universe will align and bring you the people to help guide you, just like being with the both of you today. I am now Great Wolf Resort's very first chief wellness officer, and my job is to take care of the health and well-being of our over 13,000 employees. And I'm here today with that message of no matter what's happening economically, you cannot afford to ignore the well-being of your employees.
I love that. So
Yes.
all the questions, all the comment. One, thank God that you and are here and are came through that in a place that now you can take this message forward and come from a place of knowing and clearly have a passion for it, which is super exciting. And when we were talking to Jennifer, I was like, I just love the fact that there is a chief wellness officer in the C-suite of these organizations. So can you talk to us a little bit about that? I know that I think you've held that role at some other organizations, but what does that look like? 13,000 employees. We come from a company of 350. We're trying our best to do well by our employees, but what does that look like as a role? And how do you take that and lean into that in smaller organizations as well?
You know, uh, Change is inevitable. And what I find in most organizations, whether you're an organization of 300 or 30,000 globally, we can no longer say health and wellness is a perk or benefits that's the responsibility of an individual in HR. It is the responsibility of the CEO and the entire C-suite. It starts from the top that we care for the well-being, whole person wellness, mental health, physical health, emotional well-being of your employees. It is wrong to delegate it to HR or to the primary care doctor because we know that 90% of disease and illnesses start from chronic stress at our jobs. And that what if we can also say there's ROI and data driven solutions that show when you have happy and healthy employees that they are now productive and succeeding, and it is positively impacting the business bottom line, engagement, and retention. That is the job of a chief wellness officer, is to look at data-driven solutions to bring whole person wellness with engagement to impact a workplace culture. So it doesn't matter how big or small your team is. There's only 3, 4 of us across hospitality, travel, tourism. When you look across global countries, maybe there's a few hundred of us. So there's an opportunity here to have these conversations. And my first role, it was created for me by John Murphy. He was the founder and CEO of Evolution Hospitality. At the time, we were acquired by Ambridge Hospitality. So I grew up as a chief wellness officer in hospitality. I was one of the first physicians with this role in the United States. And so there was no Googling it. There was no AI to be like, hey, Betsy, what does a chat GPT, what does a chief wellness officer do?
Yes.
And I'm so thankful for that because it meant the CEO, the COO, and our VP of HR, we had to come together to build it in a language of our culture and our people. So that's the first thing is every organization is different by the demographic of who your employees are, their needs. In hotels and hospitality, most of our employees are at the front line walking 20,000 steps a day, right?
Yeah.
Other companies have different needs. If you're sitting behind a desk, both are very stressful. So that is the role of a chief wellness officer, is using data, create a culture of wellness that you can actually drive engagement and impact.
Love that. What it feels like there's a movement. There's a movement happening that hopefully you're helping to lead. But what are you doing from an advocacy perspective to encourage this with other organizations, large and small?
Yes. When I get hired as a keynote speaker, people are confused by all the science and corporate terms I just use. Can I break it down into Dr. Romie Real Talk?
Let's do it.
Oh,
Do it.
absolutely.
Listen, you're talking to Kim and Betsy. You got to break it down. We say that
Yes.
we say we put it in Betsy and Kim terms around here. So yes.
Okay, we're going to put in Betsy and Kim's terms. Can I be honest? I feel like I'm the wise elder auntie that is having to translate 5 completely different languages across the 5 generations in the workforce so that everybody can get along. From the silent generation to the boomers to Gen X to the millennials to Gen Z. And that is 75% of the battle. And when you can bridge that communication and make it safe to talk about your feelings, your mental well-being, to avoid terms like suck it up, buttercup, you're stressed, go walk around the block. Like that is what I feel like 75% of my culture shift framework is all about.
We were talking about that earlier.
Use tell her what we were talking about with where we came from.
Well, yeah. Well, we were talking generational, just like you said, Dr. Alvin. We were talking about, like, when we started out in our careers. I mean, it was literally like grind it out, suck it up, put on your big girl pants, and these conversations. And my parents were boomers, right? And there is definitely a shift because obviously when they went to work and came home, work really stopped. You had a landline. We didn't have the internet. Not to date myself, but cat's out of the bag now. And now just wellness. The whole conversation, like you said, it's like a movement. I think it's the
Thank
younger
goodness.
millennials and Gen Z, and they're really having some of us to relook at what being holistic in the workplace, and what that looks like, and how is it okay after being in the workplace for like 30 years and now shifting your mindset to be, it's okay to be a whole person. It's you, and your wellness is important to the culture. It's like we were talking earlier. It's not about a company, it's about a culture that exists within a company, and then how we exist within that, to your point, drive ROI or performance. And
Yeah.
so, when you feel good, when you do put on the good shoes and you're having a good day, or you feel good about yourself, I mean, happy souls usually equal
Absolutely.
good performance. I just from my point, from Kim's terms,
And the science backs up Kim's term in positive psychology. And in both roles, that's what I've done, is bringing that positive psychology, the brain science. And basically what we're saying in bigger terms in organizational wellness is, how do you build resilient teams? And I too remember AOL, where someone couldn't pick up the phone or it would disconnect the internet. I remember those days. I'm right there with you, sister. Cassette tapes and CDs and all, right?
Yes.
And really, back in those days, resilience was telling people to toughen up. You got this. Building resilient teams today really takes a different skill set that is required from all of us that are in the C-suite, that are, 2 to 3 levels below in leadership, and training on that resilience. And I think the key word you were saying there is, 1, be positive, 2, have empathy and listen. And that has been the core of our success in the program. And we're 18 months in at Great Wolf Resorts, launching this across 2 corporate offices and 23 lodges around North America.
One of the things Kim and I have talked about before is, you were talking about having empathy and the positivity. And sometimes sitting in the seats that we sit in, the last thing I am is positive and want to be empathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, just being real.
Yeah.
And so how do we get the C-suite to be also resilient and be healthy and well? Like I was just saying that I sent a text to my CEO driving home a couple of weeks ago, and for the first time in a long time, unfortunately, I said, I'm like, I'm legitimately loving my job right now. And it felt really good to be honest about it and to be able to say that, but
And have it be true.
sometimes we don't.
Don't.
And so, but you still have to find that space to do that for the people that are looking up to you as the leaders in the business. And
Agreed. I in the culture shift program, when I come in and give workshops, this is exactly what I teach. This isn't about toxic positivity of sprinkling fairy dust on everything and being like, everything is great. No. The term we're looking for in clinical terms is change fatigue. The world is changing so quickly. And then in both of our industries, we're facing economic challenges, headwinds, forecasts have to be redrawn, all of those. Step one is I, as an individual leader, need to acknowledge my feelings. And it is safe to have a negative feeling. So I need to process that myself. That's number one in step one, rather than trying to, put chocolate frosting on it like a cupcake and going out there and serving mud pie with chocolate frosting on top. You just can't do that. That we can't show up that way as leaders, or it's inauthentic and it creates fear with the people we lead. Like, I know she's being fake and putting chocolate frosting positivity on a bunch of mud pie. Am I about to be fired? Like, it creates fear in our employees. So we can't do that. Number one is privately acknowledge your feelings. Can I tell you the brain science of what's fascinating that I've been studying? And I think I mentioned it from stage when we met, Betsy, from Women Leading in Travel Hospitality. The first 30 minutes you get up out of bed as a leader will determine your brain station for the rest of the day.
keep
And
going.
You keep going.
Keep going. Tell us what we need
So
to do.
I want to ask you all, and I have to admit, I failed this morning, and I'm being honest with you all because I couldn't remember it's Monday and what time was my first meeting today. As you can imagine from all the roles I have, no 2 days are alike. I gather it's the same for both of you, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I try before I do digital detox at night to remind myself what time and with what my day is starting with in the morning. Most of us use our phones as an alarm clock. Do not pick up the phone and scroll social media, look at the news headlines, look at text messages or your emails. Or we are literally elevating our stress hormone levels and turning the brain station to negativity, fear, toxicity, a fake drive, aggression. The first 30 minutes, pick one or two things that'll actually a sensory reset that will make you feel calm. And if that means you need to wake up 30 minutes before your household, do it. And so my three things I do, and I failed this morning and I caught myself and I'm like, you knew your first meeting was at 9 a.m. and you need to be dressed in hair and makeup for it. Like, stop. And I put it down. My steps are hydrate, pray, and meditate. And even if I can't do it for 30 minutes because I've got an early morning flight out of Chicago, at least I did it for 5 or 10 minutes.
So yes. So I was saying this to Kim is that I know I'm supposed to be doing those things. And sometimes I'm really good at it. And I am I am waking up and I'm not going to my phone and I am laying in bed and I'm meditating and I'm doing my affirmations and I'll do that really well for
A couple weeks.
a couple weeks, a month or something. And then I'll travel or I'll get out of my routine and schedule. And then I feel like it just all goes to hell in a handbasket for like the next 2 months. And then
But our handbasket is a Prada bag, so we just try to dress it up and make sure it looks good.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. It could be in a worse basket, right?
Right.
But no, like I tell my therapist this all the time. I'm like, I need to do the things that I know are good for Betsy. And why do I not do them? Because when I do them, I'm like a completely different I'm a completely different person. I show up differently. I feel differently. And then I just get out of that routine and I go back and then I, 2 months later, I'm telling myself to get back to it again.
Hey, that's funny, but
See, I call it a human moment. Kim, do you have human moments too?
I live in them basic most days. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are the human moments. I told you I looked at my phone schedule, work schedule in a panic this morning too for no reason at all. And maybe some days we have to switch our brain to the negative channel to remind ourselves, hey, an hour from now or tomorrow is a better day or a different day. And we can't be perfect. And also what I'm hearing in that, Betsy, is I have a different routine when I'm traveling and in a hotel room versus in my home.
Mhm.
And so it also means having a different routine in a hotel room, because in a hotel room, you're more likely to start working in your pajamas, if you're not careful, or turn on the television and listen to something negative on. And so it really means like I purposely in a hotel put on certain sound healing music that will bring you into alpha focus waves, and do that while I'm getting ready in the morning.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it is interesting, kind of, because I'm the same way, and maybe to Dr. Romie's point, it is Romie's point, showing yourself a little grace.
Yeah.
In
Mhm.
that's okay because you because even when you know you're doing something and it makes you feel better, it's still hard to have the discipline to change behavior to make it a consistent part of what you do, like
Yep.
to almost like rewiring your brain
Mhm.
to be like, but I know if I do these 3 things and I'm only taking, like to your point, could be 5 minutes. If I only have 5 minutes, I'll work it in 5 minutes. And sometimes we don't even do that for ourselves. And then we kind of beat ourselves up over the fact that we didn't take the time to do something that we needed to do for ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
And if someone chronically has a hard time doing it, that's when I give them the busy brain test. It gives you a brain score that you both were alluding to. We'll put it in the show notes. It's free
Mhm.
for people to take. We use this as a part of our research in 17,000 people when I was researching for the book, The Busy Brain Cure. And when somebody scores above a 55, 60, I know they're already waking up with their stress hormones dysregulated. And so we give the supplements to use to feel better in 14 days to regulate these stress hormones. So there's help for it. There's scientific help. So it's not about self-shame. It's if we're chronically having a hard time in the morning, either you keep hitting the snooze button 17 times or you wake up so wired and frazzled and in a stress knot, well, then there's things we can do about it. And as C-suite leaders, we have to model that. And if it means taking a time out and me talking to my therapist and Betsy, you talking to yours, thank you for talking about that, or going to a physician and getting labs done that we have in chapter 16 of the book for men and women, do it so you have the answers. We're modeling prioritizing our health and well-being for the rest of our employees.
Yeah. I mean, when I was reading in preparation for this, the brain shift protocol, which is that 8-week, but said fix sleep, tame anxiety, improve focus. And I'm like, yes, yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. And so yeah, I mean, we just need to do those things that we know are gonna help us
Well,
are
we had
gonna
a whole
help us get.
conversation about anxiety.
Yes. Well, and you've mentioned a couple of times too about this adult onset ADHD. What Where is that coming from? Are we all just now finally talking about it? Do we feel like it's something new? Like I was saying today that I never really struggled with anxiety until during COVID. Like during COVID, I would wake up with the Monday crumbles, just that anxiety of what is this week going to hold and how are we going to get through another week of it and all the uncertainty. And it's kind of just stuck with me ever since. So I'm just curious if that is a, a trend.
It is. And thank you for that authenticity and
Mhm.
honesty. And that's exactly what the medical data was showing. I think you've asked me like two different questions there. So I'm going to take them one by one as the adult onset ADHD and then the Sunday scaries or the Monday crumbles. I love that, or the Monday blues. So I'll take them two separately, but they come from the same source is change fatigue creates a channel of chronic stress in our lives. And one small thing will happen. You can't find the matching shoe to the pair of shoes you wanted to wear with that outfit. And you feel like you've just lost control of your life. That's having a busy brain. It's neuroinflammation in the brain. And we know that adult onset ADHD is a new diagnosis in the last decade, because I went to medical school in the time of cassette tapes and CDs. And back then we weren't on digital devices. We were carrying actual medical books. We were taking notes in charts, medical charts. Today, our lives, to your point, are not on a landline, Kim. We never really get to unplug from work. Somebody can always text us. We're checking emails all the time, Slack channels, Teams messages. We never really get to shut it off. And the multi-digital device use has rewired our brains, along with the chronic stress, to lose focus or have actual onset ADHD. And with that neuroinflammation, it can also disrupt important hormones in men and women, like thyroid and cortisol, that feeds into that adult onset ADHD. So we correct the thyroid, we create purposeful digital detox, we give the supplements to break us out of that toxic dopamine addiction. And that's key to getting the focus back. I alluded to the sound healing earlier. It'll get me to focus on that one thing in the moment in the morning, that one hard task you want to get done and get out of your way before the whole day of meetings starts. That's the key. The second thing you were talking about is the Sunday scaries and the Monday crumbles or blues. I think it's very common in the West to socialize with alcohol, and that'll fuel the busy brain. So when we put people through the 8-week protocol, we really try to ask people, especially that first 14 days, to either cut the alcohol in half or cut it out altogether and slowly reintroduce it, so that we're not using it as a crutch, and we give the supplements that are healthier to use instead. And that same anxiety we were feeling in the pandemic of uncertain change has cropped back up globally in 2025. But this is the difference. We get to talk about it. We're resilient leaders. We've led through hard times. I'm here to ignite that hope. Let's create resilient leaders and teams so we can ignite hope and really reframe it in a positive way to tell teams, look, I know you're doing a lot more work with less resources and having to work a lot harder to close clients. I believe you can do it. We are going to do it together. That's the difference between leading with a busy brain and igniting hope and being a hope holder.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
One of the other topics that's come up in a couple of conversations, and actually one of the keynotes when we were at Women Leading Travel and Hospitality, came from Stephanie Glanzer from MGM about the sabbatical moment that companies are doing. Are you seeing that becoming a trend? Like, we just had another woman come on Colorbar recently, and she was talking about she gave herself permission to take 10 days of vacation and truly shut it down, and gave all the role and responsibilities to people at the office. And she said, I came back like a totally different, reinvigorated person, not checking emails and not doing those things. Are you seeing companies start to take that perspective? No.
I wish. The data doesn't point to it. It's just like I'm here out loud to say we need chief wellness officers or consultants to train leadership teams to, embed wellness into engagement and culture. We really need to shift the culture in the United States to utilize vacation days properly. There is somehow a leadership trend that is actually hurting the brain of leaders, which is, if I get up on vacation and just spend 30 minutes to 90 minutes handling my email inbox, I'll feel better when I come home from vacation. The truth of the matter is, you've really not
raise my hand.
detached, right? We all have, right? And or you put your out of office on, and what happens to me, I get a phone call from a client, from somebody at Great Wolf. And we're caring. It is our responsibility when you lead at a certain level, but we don't allow ourselves to unplug. I loved that Stephanie's talked about this from MGM, just like me coming here on Colorbar to bring light of having a chief wellness officer, a fractional chief wellness officer to come and consult. I hope that MGM is starting a trend where when you reach a certain tenure, you are given that sabbatical and you are expected to be out of the office. It has saved more employees, when you talk to Stephanie, from not only leaving MGM, but leaving hospitality as a whole. And this is true in healthcare. This is true in finance, in tech, in any industry that is on 24/7. And I hope you have her on to talk about it. And I asked from the audience, like, I hope that MGM publishes their research or their protocol publicly so that other companies will take note of this. And the other thing is, how can you start and be simple? If giving employees a 2 to 4 week sabbatical seems unthinkable at this moment where the economy is, then demand that leaders take their vacation time and unplug, even if it's for 7 days, completely unplug.
Yeah. And one of the things that we talked about that is a big topic with a lot of the leaders that we have on Colorbar is young talent and having the next generation come up behind us. And I hadn't even thought about this until this conversation, but setting that as the new standard. So we talk about it as an opportunity for these new, young, super talented people to come up behind us and take our role on for 10 days and just be given that opportunity to shine is a great opportunity. But what I hadn't thought about was it's also us, to your point that you continue to make, we as leaders have to demonstrate the right way to do this. And so if we actually unplug, hopefully when they go on vacation, we allow them the opportunity to truly unplug. I really encourage everybody that works for me, if you're going on vacation, take vacation. We work so hard. Like, and we need to just make sure that you're set up to be successful whenever you're not here because you're going to come back. If you work the whole time, you're going to come back resentful.
Most definitely.
Still not completely rested.
Well, you haven't rested or,
Yeah, vacate.
vacated.
Your brain is in fight or flight. And what we need to talk about is it's normal the first 48 hours. You're going through the dopamine withdrawal of the control of inbox that you're like, let me just log in and check. You have got to schedule something physical on your vacation that has you away from a computer. Take a cooking class, go hiking, go out on a boat, go somewhere where there is no Wi-Fi, have your partner throw your phone overboard, like whatever it is, like you have got to do it and learn to get over that fear. And I just love, Betsy, that you're modeling this to the employees. This is that 5 generations. McKinsey shows data and leadership that millennials and Gen Z are actually refusing promotions because they see what leaders of elder millennials, Gen X, boomers, and the silent generation are doing. They're like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no joy in getting promoted. I want to be able to take a vacation. I want to be able to see my elderly parents. And so that is something like you can't lead by saying, we lead by example.
Yep. Yep. So I don't want to keep much more of your time, but I do want to give you an opportunity. 2 things if you would tell leaders of companies to try to implement or just things that we can be doing to start
Start this journey.
baby steps.
Baby steps. Yeah.
Start this journey.
Start
I'm going to
this
give
journey.
you, I'm going to give you 3 things.
Please.
One is really be thoughtful of the first 30 minutes that you wake up from the minute your alarm goes off or you wake up naturally, whether you're traveling or in your home, and do a sensory reset. Do not use a television, a phone, any digital device. You have got to have a healthy station for your brain. Number 2, I really believe the way to heal this crosstalk across 5 generations, which is negatively impacting mental well-being in the workplace and performance, is to practice empathetic listening. Get trained on it. I will come in and train your team. It is transformative to that 5 generations in the workplace. And the third thing, I'm going to use a personal story. Be somebody's hope holder today. When I was in the cardiothoracic surgeon's office and he asked if I had disability insurance, and the second team came in to talk about potential chemotherapy, it was this moment that hope just departed my soul. And I started to cry and they couldn't go on with the consultation. And the surgeon came back in the room and he literally said, he positively reframed from the depth of his being, Romie, I have hope you are going to get through this. The surgery is going to be successful. You're only going to need one. And then my father and mother were with me and they just immediately snapped into it. Of course we have hope. We're going to tell everyone we know to go pray in church, the synagogue, the temple, the mosque for you. And I called my mentor in neurology. And he had retired and he was in a small town in South Carolina. He was like, you know what? You don't worry about your job or what comes next. We're going to put you on our Sunday bulletin at church. And strangers in a small town who I'd never met were praying for me every Sunday. I had 3 groups of hope holders. As a leader, hold hope for somebody on your team. Your only job is to have the hope that they are going to get through that hard time at work or through that hard time personally. You're not there to give advice. You're only there to say, I have hope you will heal. I have hope you will have a second chance at love. This is what I'm studying now, is how do you bring hope back into individuals and teams in the workplace? Hope is a strategic mindset. And I'm asking leaders in today's world, hold the hope for the people you serve and tell them that.
Okay, first you just gave me goosebumps
And I'm gonna cry. I know.
And I teared up.
Teared up too. That's okay. I'm like, okay.
So let's model it for each other. What hope can I hold for the both of you, personally or professionally? And I'm going to tell you mine as well.
You start.
Oh no. I don't know.
You know what? My hope is, yeah, I think I want to truly come from a place of hope for the business and for our employees, for myself. Like, I can feel this kind of renewed energy in myself right now, and I want to hold it as long as I possibly can for me and for everybody around me.
Like a joyful, I would go like a joyful energy.
And it to be an authentic joy.
An authentic joy. No chocolate frosting.
No chocolate
But
frosting on a
the one, like authentic, like an authentic, joyful energy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the hope for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joyful. I will go with joyful energy. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the hope I'm holding for each of you, and I'm going to email you both from time to time and say, I feel I am holding the hope that you will bring that joyful energy and positivity to your business and the people you serve. I'm going to give you my hope.
Please, please.
It feels very nerve-wracking for me and vulnerable to tell you that this is the next big idea that I'm researching. That hope is a strategic mindset and not fluff. And I'm going to be going to companies like yours to say, can we research the data and teach your people to have hope again? So will you hold the hope?
I will hold all the hope we can possibly hold.
Absolutely.
And that we get the protocol right scientifically, and that we're able to teach people again how to have hope no matter what's going on in the outside world. So thank you for being my hope holders.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
absolutely love this. And because I want more people to have hope, tell everyone that's joined us today, where can they connect with you, learn more, all the things?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the Colorbar podcast. And if this conversation touched you, share this episode on whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Please do that. We have the link. Get your brain score. Let's change the station of your brain. We'll put the free Busy Brain test here. Get your score in the email. You get the first 14 days of the protocol and the Busy Brain Cure book. And if you have additional questions, I'm here to serve. Reach out to me. I'm Dr. Romie on LinkedIn or Instagram. I literally be the hope holder as a leader for the people you serve.
Well, you just made our day.
Yes,
and made our
absolutely.
week as we head into another one in front of us. Tell Chicago that we said hello, and we hope to see you again really soon.
Yes,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much for this time.
Holding that hope. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining Color Bar. As Dr. Romie said, make sure that you share this with as many people as you can and spread the hope. Thanks everybody.